Everybody, it's Catrice Bailey from When Models Talk. You are now watching episode 30, part 2, with
Girl,
special guest
it's
Sanvernetas
so
Thomas.
funny because I'm telling you, Lord rest my mother's soul. I miss her so much. And me and her used to go back and forth. I'm like, I'm not doing this. She's like, yes, you are. I'm like, girl, whatever. I'll be like, whatever, get out my face. I'm not doing it. But she knew what she was doing when she first set me up for this. I, my very first client as a wardrobe stylist when I was 5 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. My mama, she used to pull me into her walk-in closet and she'd be like, come here, baby. I'm like, what is it? She's like, pick my outfit. And I'd be like, okay. And I'll just pick out heels. I'm just picking out stuff and jewelry at 5. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I just love helping my mother get dressed up. Like, I don't know. Like, as I got older, I was more into like, I was aware of what I was doing, but I didn't want to make it a passion yet. I didn't know it was there. But as I grew older, my mom, I need you to help me out. I need you to help me get dressed. When we going to church, I need you to help me get dressed for this funeral. Da, da, da. I ain't gonna lie, no tea, no shade. I think my favorite time getting my mom dressed up, and it's church. I love a Southern Black woman's church fashion. Like I love the hats. I love the the two piece. I love the slip. The before we had waist trainers, before they were waist trainers, they was called girdles. Now, my mom
Yes,
used to
yes.
always, girl, it was so funny because me and my sister, I don't know if my sister is watching right now, but she might, but she can definitely attest to this. Every time my mom get ready, she's like, y'all help me put on my girdle. She didn't say girdle, she said girdle. So we would have to pin her in her girdle just so she could get on her rest of her clothes. And when I tell you, she be the baddest thing walking.
I know that's right, Mama.
That's where I got my love for fashion, like her and my dad, because
Mhm.
they used to always, they was like the most fashionable ones in our town in Mississippi where I grew up. And
Mm.
growing up with that and seeing that, I mean, I didn't really get into it until I got to college, and I didn't really realize that it had an effect until I got older. And I was like, wait. So I started analyzing. I'm like, okay, I started this when I was 5 years old. I got my mom dressed. I did this. I do that.
Mhm.
I feel like, why does she keep doing this? Like, but I used to always think it was for her, but it was honestly for me. Like, she knew what my
Mhm.
passion was.
Mhm.
And I remember one day I was analyzing like last year and really trying to figure out why do I love fashion so much? What
Mhm.
does fashion do for me? What
Yeah.
does what does the essence hold when it comes to styling a client,
Mhm.
being on set, getting somebody dressed for whatever the event? And I went back in time and I realized I was like, hey, I would never forget I got my mom dressed. I was a teenager. And she was like,
Mhm.
baby, I used to love it. She was like, baby, help me get dressed. And I never wanted to, sometimes I wanted to go with her, but I was like, okay, I get to help my mama get dressed. Like, I'm so excited. And she's putting on her makeup and I'm ironing her clothes and I'm getting her jewelry together and I'm putting on her jewelry, her heels, helping her get her clothes. And it's just
Mhm.
seeing the finished product of my mother before she walks out the door. I used to get emotional every time.
Aw.
Like to see her go through all her traumas and everything she went through in life, but to get dressed up and to see all that fade away, and she walks
Mhm.
out to wherever event or conference she's going to, that feeling alone is what I want to achieve with every client.
Mhm.
Is
I know.
seeing them in their greatest,
Mhm.
shedding all their traumas, insecurities, whatever they're going through for that moment, for that moment,
Yeah.
so they can see what's within them. Because when I see my mother, I see everybody else. And
Mhm.
that's when I realized, like, this is why I do it for those moments.
Mhm.
And I just
That's
keep doing
awesome.
it. Like, I love it. Like, that's why with my clients, like, if I'm wardrobe styling, I see my clients as king and queens. And
Mhm.
whatever you're going through, let's pretty much awaken that light that's within you, that essence, that style
Yeah.
that's waiting to just be released so the
Mhm.
world can see you as you are, your natural state. And like
Mhm.
that's my achievement for all my clients. Even with being a creative director, I love being on set. I love
Mhm.
creating visual, and it's crazy. I don't know if you've seen it, but I just put out a visual today, a self-proclaimed visual that
No.
I just I just posted like an hour, I was like, let me get her out right quick before. But yeah, I just posted a visual. It's called Daydreaming. And what Daydreaming is all is me. You know, I'm the creative director. I'm the wardrobe stylist. I'm the videographer. I'm the video I'm the video editor, and I'm the set designer. So Daydreaming is all about me and telling my story, you know, as a Black queer man and having these visions of love, and there's a parallel between reality and the dream world. And it's like I'm always in the clouds. Like you ask anybody, I daydream all the time. That's my safe space, is daydreaming about any and everything. Like there's been plays, movies, video, like there's so much stuff I have in my head, and I would daydream and play it out as a creative director. Hopefully gonna put it out one day, but right now I'm just gonna take it one day at a time. But I put out Daydreaming because I love Aretha Franklin. I love soul. I love soulful. I love blues. I love R&B. And that song, it's just, it just puts you in that mood of hope and hope of love. And I was like, let me use this song to be my inspiration. So, girl, I got the creative directing, and I was like, wait, I could do this, this can represent this and this. And I just, before you knew it, I had a whole mood board, and I put it out today. Like, I put it out like probably, it's 7:50 now. I posted about 5 something. About 2 hours ago, I posted to Instagram and Twitter, and it's up there now. And it's a
I'm
little,
gonna check it out when we done. I'm checking
yes,
it out.
y'all definitely check out Daydreaming, because that is actually my official, that is my very first visual project that I ever put out. Because, you know, I've always done projects that are still pictures, you know, behind the scenes. This is my very first visual.
And somebody said, fashion isn't what you do, baby. From the moment I met you, you've always been able to make people feel beautiful in their skin. And that's why
Oh,
you are
thank
so
you,
good at it.
baby. I love her. We used to work together. Yeah, that is my boo. Girl, we used to always cut up at the bank. I ain't even gonna lie. But I just, like, with fashion, like, I think with fashion is, I feel like because a lot of people don't know. I would say the reason I kill it so hard is because, not because I love it, but it's like a defense mechanism. It's like a defense mechanism, honestly. Because, you know, throughout school, throughout my childhood, hell, even adulthood, I was bullied. You know, I was always shunned online. I'm like, little old me, you wouldn't think I was ever bullied. Yes, I went through it. About my features, my nose, my skin color, my teeth, my lips, my eyes, my head shape, my body size, any and everything that people could attack me. Like, I was bullied. So it got to a point where I'm like Rihanna said, she can beat me, but she can't beat my outfit.
I know that. I know that's right.
I tell people that all the time. I said, I love fashion. I do. You can talk about me. You can laugh at me. You can do you can drag me through the depths of despair, agony, pain, whatever. But you cannot be my outfit. And let me tell you why. As cocky and arrogant as that sounds, my outfit, my aesthetic, my style is mine. It's nobody else. I pour into myself to embrace my deepest, darkest depths, and to try and experiment with myself and express myself truthfully and honestly. That's why can't nobody tell me anything otherwise. Now, people do that for themselves. Oh, you be the baddest thing walking. That's all to it. That's my secret right there. That's the secret sauce right there. You just got to be yourself. That's how you kill it. When you're yourself, can't nobody critique you at all.
That's so true.
I don't care what they got on. You ain't got to be all designer. You don't have to be no Louis. You don't have to be no Fendi. Because all them prints, you look a hot mess. Honestly, truly. Prints on prints on prints. You look a hot Monica clown mess. Now, the real girls, I know, no tea, no shade, but for the real girls, if you really want to be that fashion girl, do your research, of course. But you don't have to let people know what you're wearing. You don't have to prove anything. You can go through a thrift store and pull some bomb coats. You could go to Poshmark and get something that's resold that somebody else don't want, but you can ump it up. That's what fashion is. Fashion is not, that's what a lot of people, they think that, yes, you can live a luxury life, a luxurious life, but if you can afford it, that's cool. But don't think that you are stylish because you are wearing high fashion. No, they're separate, boo. They're two different lanes, and people don't understand that in this industry. And I keep telling them, like, girl, if you want to look like money, you go to thrift store and look like money, baby. You go to Goodwill and look like money. You go to your best friend's closet. I'm telling you, these little like ASOS and Lulu's and Nasty Girl, like all these little confinement shops. Like if you, girl, fashion is endless, but it's what you make it. You don't have to do what everybody is doing. You don't have to look like everybody
else.
You don't.
But I need you to use that line that you just said.
Which one?
About, you said you can't you can beat me, but you can't. What is that?
Oh yeah, girl. That's, I can't trademark that. That's Rihanna, girl. She won the I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the I think it was CDFA award, CFDA. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's one of the two. I get them confused, but it's pretty much the fashion awards. And you know, she won Fashion Icon of the Year. And that's when she had this Swarovski crystal dress with the, you know, the do-rag. And she's out of there and she speaks. Like, she had a speech, and when people don't understand, like, I love Rihanna. Well, Rihanna, her correct, but I call her Robin. Because she's my sister. I call her Robin. I'm serious. Me and Rihanna are brother and sister because she's a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. She's a fashion icon. I'm a fashion icon. She's a mogul of so many different things. I'm a mogul of so many different things.
I know that, right.
Rihanna was bullied. Like, you know, she was bullied. Like, Rhea was bullied throughout her whole childhood. You can, she even said it. But one thing she said, she's like, I looked at the girl. She said, you can beat me, but you can't beat my outfit. And that's always been, that's been her since she was a kid. And when I embrace that, like I tell people, you might be stronger than me, you might look better than me, you might have more money than me, you might be connected to everybody in the industry. You can beat me in a lot of areas. I'm okay with that. But you cannot beat my outfit. You can't. Right. That's a me thing, because in my universe, listen, in my universe, we that girl. We that girl. I don't need no cameras. All I need is me. And
I know that's right.
And once you walk into that, can't nobody tell you anything.
Yes.
Listen, self, like I tell people, love comes from self. Validation comes from self.
Absolutely, because I think a lot of people look outward for so much validation when they really need to tune in into their own validation. I was listening to this woman called Dr. Venus. I think she created Black Women Millionaire. I'm saying I might be saying it wrong, but she created that. And when she created it, she was talking about how, because she's a multimillionaire, but the thing is, she dropped everything. She was like, okay, this is too much, because she felt like she had to put on this facade, and she wasn't happy. She's like, I'm making all this money. So many people are adoring me, and I have so many fans, and I have so much going on, and I'm flourishing, but I'm not happy. So she wound up dropping everything and just focusing on herself and staying true to who she is. And I think that's the best thing you could do for anybody. Because that's like I was telling my sister, I was like, I absolutely love doing When Models Talk. But if it ever becomes too much for me, guess what? I will drop it real quick. Be okay with it. Because, hot mess millionaire. Because I know that it's all about my fulfillment and what I'm happy about, what fulfills me, what keeps me going. And I can't look for validation for everybody else from the outside. That has to come from only me. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to be, well, let me make sure I got this right and that right before. No, I could have came on here with a ponytail.
Listen.
No makeup.
Right.
And was chilling. But I just choose, because I just choose. But I did this for me. It wasn't like I was doing it for everybody else. So I feel like a lot of people with these, like when, for example, people putting on so much makeup, then when you take it off, you don't even look like the same person. Right. That's what I tell these men. Y'all better tell them, look, take that makeup off first. Take it off. Let me see what you look like underneath. Now they take off the hair too. so we can see what kind of hair you got. What I'm
Let's
getting,
see.
what I'm actually getting.
It's
So,
like you always have to. You have to have a sense of self.
yeah.
Like you if you gotta fight for it, if you gotta, because sometimes you gotta fight yourself.
Mm.
You gotta fight in the dark, in the depths, and you gotta do it. I mean, I've done it, and I'm still fighting. Like it don't stop. It get easier, but it always comes back around, and you just have to continue and be
Yeah.
consistent with yourself. And I keep telling that to people, like, because like you said, once it becomes too much, it becomes too much. Even as a
Yeah.
wardrobe stylist, once I was because I was working with my mentor, Lamar
Mm-hmm.
Fire, and she's been
Mm-hmm.
my mentor for almost 4 years. I think later this year be 4 years he's been my mentor. And she asked me, she was like, "Hey, do you want to be a wardrobe stylist forever, or do you want to be a creative director?" And I'm like, well, I'm really looking
Mm-hmm.
like at the fruit, like I want these ideal clients. I want my actress.
Mm-hmm.
I want my NBA player. That's it. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
as a wardrobe stylist. But as a creative director, I have so much freedom to create.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to really ask myself, I'm always going to be a wardrobe stylist. I'm always going to be a model. I always have those aspects of me. But as a
Mm-hmm.
creative director, I forgot that when I started this journey back in 2015, that was my end result. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote that down, creative director. That's what we're trying to achieve. And then when it came time for me to transition into that, I got scared. I was like, oh, I can't do this yet. I still got to do this. Da, da, da. But sometimes it comes before it's meant to be. Like, it comes before you see it. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, you know what? Let me just be a creative director and just stop playing. Let me
Yeah.
really stop playing and just be full on into it. And once
Yeah.
I stepped into it, I produced my very first project, Daydreaming. I just put it out there today. Like nobody knew it was coming. And I was upset because when I posted her, Instagram was like, we had deleted your video. And I'm like, I'm not on the rights to this video. And I was like, what I said, I was like, appeal. Well, of course, you're not going to put my stuff up there, girl. As long as you say I do not own the rights to this video, they're going to put it up there. So Daydreaming is definitely on my page. Check it
Okay.
out when you get a chance. I mean, we're quarantined, and I mean, it's just right now I'm just focusing on being a creative director. Me being a wardrobe stylist, that comes hand in hand with being a creative director, because if
Mm-hmm.
the way I see my sets, because I do, like, I'm not gonna lie, I do have my favorite, my person I do want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably get to that. I'm gonna let
Yeah.
you answer questions, girl. Let me shut up, Catrice. Yo, Catrice, I can't do it, girl. I keep going and going, and I
No,
don't
I'm
stop.
listening.
I don't stop. But yeah, check out Daydreaming, y'all. It's on my page. I just released it.
So before I ask that particular question,
Mm-hmm.
no matter, I'm gonna ask it now. What are let me go to that question so I know exactly what I want to say. So who else do you want? I know you worked with people in New York Fashion Week and just different
Mm-hmm.
things. I want to know, who else do you want to work with in the industry? Like your dream person or people.
Honestly, okay. So I think the first one is, of course, Hype Williams. Um, I mean, of course, I was inspired by Missy, but
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired by the videos. Sock It To Me, Janet and Buster. What's it gonna be?
Yeah.
Aaliyah. I think it was Aaliyah. What video was that? When she's in a motorcycle, I forgot.
Lord
More than a
Jesus.
woman. More than a woman.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was the one, the one when she passed away, or was the
yeah.
one before?
Well, the last one she filmed was Rock the Boat, but they filmed More Than a Woman before Rock the Boat. But they
Yeah.
released More Than a Woman as her single, and she didn't want that to happen. And then they
Mm-hmm.
released Rock the Boat, which was her label and her uncle child mess. But anyway, Hype Williams, like I want to work with Hype Williams so bad,
Mm-hmm.
like just to
You
see
got it on your
his.
dream board?
I couldn't find it, but I do got networking.
You better write it.
Listen, don't make me write
Put
it
it on
tonight.
there.
I want to work with Hype Williams so bad, and I didn't know. Missy Elliott has always been my all-time inspiration, always. And if I go deeper, it was Hype Williams as a creative director, and him directing her shoots and working with Timberland and all these other artists, and even with Issa Rae. Like I wanna work with beside Issa Rae just to feel her energy. Like the way Issa Rae is, she's honestly awkward. She has this mouth like mine. Because when people see my teeth, they're like, "Oh my God, you got Issa Rae teeth." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been called horse mouth throughout my entire childhood, but yeah, I embrace my smile. Never had braces. I ain't gonna lie to you, I never had a brace on this. This is all natural. So I want to work with Issa, like, because the way that she creates is, I can understand what she's saying. Seeing her as a person, I know that she would treat me as her equal. And I would love to learn as much as I can with her. Another person I want to work with, Robin Fenty.
Robin Fenty?
Yes, Rihanna. She's just, ugh. Like, I just want her to we just be sitting there in Paris, in a hotel, drinking some type of wine and just talking. And next thing you know, she's like, I got an idea. And we just write this entire concept down and produce it in 6 months. That's what I see. I also want to work with Beyonce. And before people say anything, I'm not in the beehive. I'm not a Bayhive. I'm not one of the little bees or anything. I'm not into that. I love Beyonce. I support her. She's one of my favorites. I just don't consider myself in that hive because them hive, they have no Tino shade. Y'all ain't got no, I ain't gonna say, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that before, you in a hive, forgive me, but y'all be doing a bit much. I like Beyonce for her artistry, for her person, for her humanity. Like the way that she is a perfectionist, the way that she creates everything to the T. I have to work with her. Like I imagine myself working for 16-hour days straight, 7 days a week. That's my aspiration because I kind of do it now because I work and I do other things, but I think those would be the top ones, that I want to work with now, just to be in that mix with them to see how they conduct. But honestly, I mean, and another part, of course, I got to tap into like the wardrobe styling. I do want to work with Jason Rembert. I mean, I love Law Roach. Law is like one of my favorite stylists, wardrobe stylists, because he gets the days together. He has his mentee Colin Carter doing wonderful things with Cardi, all the other girls, but Jason Rembert Jason is so down to earth. And I was on Clubhouse listening to him talk and curate and say, like, he's so humble about everything. He was like, yo, I would do a gig for $10. Listen, I'm like, oh my, I want to work with him. I'm like, I want to work with you. And he pays the people that work for him, his interns. And the thing about Jason, not only is he a wardrobe stylist, he's a designer. He has a whole clothing line that is popping. Like I'm talking about high fashion, not no boutique, but high fashion. And I'm like, okay, he's a man of many avenues, so I would definitely love to work under him. And I think that about sums it. That sums it up for now.
And did you put all this on your dream board?
What I did, well, honestly, I didn't. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. And I think the reason that I didn't put it because I didn't want to rush it.
Well, Shelly Shell said she was like, you can add to your dream board daily. So.
Oh yeah, of course. So I think
you might want to put that there.
I do. Like I want to put like all of them.
And you know what? It's gonna happen when the guy says it's gonna happen regardless.
I got one more. I mean, he's one of many. But if it came to me styling somebody, it has to be Andre 3000. Andre Benjamin, listen, if you're watching this, let me be your creative, and can we just create something? It's crazy because I ran into him twice in Philly, and the first time I ran into him, when he was filming in Philly, there was a rumor that he plays a wooden flute. I was like, oh shit, like whatever. I was like, I see him when I see him. Girl, I was downtown Chestnut Street actually, and saw this man with this flute, and he looked at me. It's like he did it so sneaky. He had his flute. He looked up at me, and then he smirked, and then he walked over. I was like, oh nah, you're not getting away from me today. So I walked over there gracefully, and it's like we was walking like this, and I was like, Andre. And he was like, what's up, man? I was like, yo. So we dapped it up, and we was talking. Girl, I was so irate because here these two girls. I was like, oh my God, Andre 3000. I was like, yo, chill out. I'm like, can y'all stop that? Like, I'm trying to talk to the man like a human being. Like, chill out. I had to get them together because they ain't have no chill. So I was like, listen, man. I was like, can I rap to you right quick? And he was like, well, I don't have time. I was like, listen, I'm not trying to rap no music. I'm just trying to tell you about yourself. I'm like, listen, your inspiration, like your fashion is so inspiring to me. Like, man, you are a walking God. And that's all I have to say. So I'm going to let you enjoy your night. He was like, man, I really appreciate it. You have a great night. So my friends, we were out that night. It was a Sunday. I'll never forget. My friend was like, who are you talking to? I said, Andre 3000. They was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, how did you know it was, you're lying? I'm like, no, I don't lie. I have no reason to lie. So 2 or 3 weeks later, I was downtown again. I was on Market Street this time. It was crowded, and I was walking this way. Girl, I seen a man with these glasses and a flute walking this way. And he put his head down. I was like, uh-huh. It was funny. It was so funny. So he it's crazy because it's like he knew who I was. So we walked shoulder and shoulder. And I threw my fist up, and he dapped me up, and we just kept walking. And that was that. And my friend was like, you know him? I'm like, yeah, that was Andre 3000. They was like, you're lying. I'm like, no. And they was like, well, why aren't you like fangirling and all this other stuff? Why? Yeah. I'm trying to work with this man, all right? I'll fangirl in my bedroom. I'm trying to work with this man, but like after I seen him, I was like, God, just one more time. I gotta work with this man. I mean, a lot of people tell me that I myself remind them of Andre 3000, and that is the best compliment I have ever received. And I am a Badu fan. Like I love Badu. I'm like, it's all connected. Like it's like, can I just be in y'all family? Can y'all adopt me? Like I'm like, move over 7, Pluto, Mars. Y'all need to move over and let me be your older brother. But I think Andre's the last one.
Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to get all those people on that vision board, and it doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, this year. It could happen over time because things just happen over time. It's when God happen.
And that's what Issa Rae said when she did her vision board. It happened over time. So I'm gonna definitely put Andre up there. Hype. I mean, even Beyonce, Missy Elliott, Jason Rembert, and Jason, he styles Issa, so it's like hand in hand with them. So I'm gonna put all these people that I want to work with up there. Since because I didn't want to jump the gun. I didn't. I was like, let me just pretty much focus on building my brand bigger and networking, connecting, and building portfolio. So that was my main focus. It's that in general, but I would listen and just put them out there just to have them in the atmosphere so I can keep myself reminded and continue to work towards that.
So I have another question for you because I don't want to keep you too long.
Okay.
But what is your experience with being a fashion editor? What is a fashion editor?
Oh, child. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you guys didn't know. I was, look, that one was like, whoosh. Okay. You guys didn't know I am a former fashion editor of the Access Report. And the Access Report is it's an online magazine that covers fashion, art, lifestyle, music, food, you name it. It is a great magazine, by the way. And I started that of April 2020. Naomi Coleman, she is the real NKC. That's one of her brands. But I met her when I did Stevie Boy. She's Stevie Boy's PR. Years later, we reconnected, and she wanted me to be a part of her magazine. So I agreed. I was like, oh, I'm not doing it now. I was like, Naomi, I'm not doing this. She was like, but it's crazy because I reached out to her before to be my PR.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, but we didn't move forward until after the fashion editor stuff. So after that, I agreed. Looked in my other peers who were, fellow fashion editors, and I learned from them. Of course, I did my research,
Mm-hmm.
but I used to ask her. I was like, Naomi, why did you pick me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like journalism. I love magazines, but I don't like journalism. She was like, I watched you for a very long time, and the way that you write pieces on social media, they're very detailed and they're very interesting, and I want you on my team. I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay. So got my feet wet. I was nervous. I was shook. But I always knew to ask questions on how to do certain things and how to
Yeah.
move. So I had my interns, and I miss my babies. I do. I miss my babies. I do. Like, no, I'm not gonna get emotional, but just I don't. It's like I've never got to a position where I was a mentor
Mm-hmm.
in the fashion industry. I mean, I had little mentees, but someone like in that aspect, I never had it as a fashion editor, and
Mm-hmm.
it was so much growth, so much development. And I was nervous, and I wrote my very first piece. I was nervous about that piece. And what people don't understand is I wrote a piece about one of my favorite American designers is Kirby Jean Raymond. He's the founder of Pierre Moss.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love Kirby. I love what his brand represents. I love everything. And I really can't wait until he collaborates with Reebok because he's like the VP creative director of them now. So I'm hoping that
Okay.
they collaborate with the Margiela so I can get me some Reeboks Margiela collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Tabby shoes. That's what I want. But anyway, so hopefully I'm praying that comes out. But I did my first piece on Kirby about, his COVID release initiative, about what him and his team at Pierre Moss and Your Friends in New York have done to, the people who are business owners, the nurses, the doctors who are running short of supplies. So I wrote a whole piece on that,
Mm-hmm.
my very first piece. And the piece was due on a day. And I waited till the last minute because I'm just a last minute person when it comes to certain things. I waited till the day before to submit. So it had to be submitted on about like 12 o'clock. Girl, I started that at 6 o'clock p.m. Had to work at my job, answering phone calls all night while writing this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Finished that piece in 6 hours. When I tell you, I edited it, I made sure everything was good, everything was factual. That was the best piece I ever written.
Wow.
His whole team even looked at it. They looked at my page and I seen Pierre Moss in my viewers. I was like, what the crap? So that piece was curated. Like, it was divinely curated. And I looked at everybody because a lot of people were writing about that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I looked at what they wrote about, no tea, no shade, but their piece did not hit like my piece. It just didn't. Because it's like I wanted to show Kirby as a hero because, within the industry, he's had a lot of backlash about his Black Power movement and police brutality. I mean, he even got blacklisted from the industry. But as you see today, he's still rising and rising and rising. So I wanted to show him in that light as being a pinnacle, like being in the forefront of all this mess that we're going through. And once I got in and working with I love it. Being a fashion editor, it takes work. It was a lot, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Like my interns, like I gave them the creative freedom to write. Like, cause I didn't want to give too much. Like I would have like two different controls. I would have my quick hit topics, and then I would have my research interns. So with my quick hit is just fast stuff, fast topics coming in and out. And then with my research, they would either do research for me or research of something they want to write. So I would give my research interns more personal freedom. I'm like, listen, be creative. Like, I want you to just write something. Like, what do you have in mind? Give me some topics. I'll approve them. Once they gave me topics, they gave me stuff that was substantial, topics that you can read any time of the year. That's what I enjoy doing, is creating content and molding my interns to be fully embraced, and just to whatever comes to them, you move first forward. Don't hesitate. I mean, of course, we had not our criticism, but we had our meetings, and I'd be like, okay, so if we go this in this direction, this is what you could do. But I've never put them down. Never. That's what I enjoyed about it. Like, I never made them feel like they were less than me. I'm like, I used to tell them, like, listen, I might be over you, but you still have a voice. You still have a placement. And I'm here to just help you get it out there. I said, I'm just here to edit. And their pieces, I miss it. Like, I mean, I did resign in December last month because I'm moving into new spaces and I need to pour a lot into myself, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the PR, which Naomi is my PR now, you know, and the fashion in chief. And she told me, she's like, listen, I get it. She's like, you can come back anytime. She's like, you always got a home here with us. And I really appreciate it. So being a fashion editor is really being raw, you know, seeing the world from a certain atmosphere. Because it's like a lot of, because I don't despise news and media, but if it's not really fashion news or entertainment, I'm not really tuned into it. The world news, I'll catch it on Twitter and Instagram. I just don't like watching the news like that. But if it's like a Vogue magazine, Girl, Pop Sugar, GQ, Complex, whatever, even if it's girl, BOF, I'm there. But other than that,
not really.
I don't like the politics. I do not like politics at all.
So flipping back to being a creative director,
when
it comes to being a creative director, what type of companies can you work with? Because I saw that you said that one person was a creative director for some big brand. And
which one?
It was a guy.
I think I know who you're talking about. Oh yeah, it's like with a creative director, you could pretty much work for any brand, any. It could be commercial, it could be technology.
So
it could be farming. It could. It's like the realm.
What kind of places would you want to, as far as being a creative director? What kind of companies? What company would you want to work with?
Companies. I wouldn't want to work for no company. I mean, if it ever came to a company, if it's like a commercial gig, I mean, yeah, hey, let's do a commercial. Can you create direct this commercial? Yeah, I don't mind, but it's like I'm not trying to be stuck with y'all because I just already know those contracts. They're like, you got to work with us. You can't be a freelance. I would be more of a freelance, meaning I can work with whoever I want to work with. I want to work with musicians. I want to work with stylists. I want to work with models. I want to work with on set of movies, TV shows. Like it just, for me, it never stops.
So have you thought about creating like your own business in your particular, as far as the whole aspect of being a creative director and having services? It could be a wardrobe stylist service too in here.
Honestly,
you know,
there's already a contract written up. I got all that stuff together, but it's like I had to shift my brand again because I was like focusing on being a wardrobe stylist. So I shut my website down to rebrand. And it's crazy that you bring that up because everything is like on the back end is set. It's just, I just got to redo my website. And honestly, I have a lot of stuff coming. I got projects next month that I can't really talk about.
And you know what? I want everybody to understand something, that because of course there's a lot of things that we want to accomplish, we want to complete, we want to do, you know. If I could be farther along than in this, I would be extremely happy, you know.
Listen.
But I'm happy with at the end of the day, taking my time and not rushing myself and to the point where, you know, I'm like, it's not fulfilling. It's not something I'm
right.
So don't rush yourself. Like, of course, people have, when you know, when you talk, and you know, you can feel the passion in certain things that you're like, oh my gosh, I love this. You can feel the passion of when somebody's talking, and you can hear it too. That's their niche, that's their thing. But and then a person wants to give you advice to say, okay, why don't you do this and why don't you try this? And a lot of times you might have already thought about it and everything else at the end of the day.
Right. That's why I be
But
looking at people. I be like,
already
I'm like,
did that.
I either
Thank you for
done it.
watching When Models Talk, episode 30 with special guest Sanvernetas Thomas.